Hey, welcome to Wizards Outlook. As always, got Cardo Dudley Jr., Raymond Lyons, Wilson Tarpe Jr., and let's get to it, man. John Collins gets a huge triple late in this one to carry the Hawks past the Wizards 120, 116. Obviously, we know that Washington's been without Beal in both of these games against the Hawks. That said, they've been in each and every one of these games, have had opportunities to close out both of these games this week. Instead, two losses. We talked about this heading into the week. We talked about this after, what is it? It's Wednesday. We talked about this Monday night. We're here now on Wednesday night, and, they lost both games to the Hawks. The Hawks clinched a playoff berth tonight with the win. I'm going to let y'all get to it. Cardell, you're up first tonight, and then Ray.
Well, first, I love the battle between Russell Westbrook and Trae Young all game. Pretty much doing it all. It's the old guard trying to hold off the young bull that's trying, in a sense, take his spot. Take his seat on the pantheon of top point guards in the league, man. And he's coming. As great as Russ played tonight, Trae made the plays down the stretch to win the game. That three to Collins in the corner. Having confidence in Collins, not only to take that shot, but to hit it at that moment. That speaks volumes, and that speaks volumes of Trae's maturity, because past couple of years he probably would have shot that. You know what I'm saying? He would have danced on that on shot it, but the fact that he was patient, he was poised, and he surveyed the floor, saw Collins wide open. I don't know what Bertans was doing. You got to contest that once you got a foot in the paint, to let Trae know I'm right here with Collins. Once he made that pass, you got to hustle out there, even if he making it. And for him to just stand there, hey man, I'm gonna leave that alone. But it was great. But I just felt like Trae. It was back and forth all game. But I just felt like Trae made more clutch plays down the stretch to give them the victory. Wizards bench, they stepped up, led by Gafford and Bertans for most of the game. They stepped up big time. They were X factor. Without their play, the Hawks win easily. But with their play, the Wizards had a chance to win, and it kind of made up for Bill's not being, Bill's production, them not having it. 3-point shooting was a big X factor. The Wizards finally, had a game for the most part where they shot well. For about 3 quarters, they was at 40%. In the fourth quarter, I don't know what happened. They got cold, and it didn't sustain throughout the entire game. It sustained for most of the game, and that was pivotal because they still couldn't quite guard Atlanta, and Atlanta got on the free throw line, and they made nearly 80% to close the game out. And it's just little plays and little details of the execution, which was the difference in, honestly, both games. You know what I mean? And it's just tough, and that's the difference between where the Wizards are in the seeding and where the Hawks are. You know what I mean? So I just feel like it was just late game execution, especially in the fourth quarter, where Atlanta, they executed at will. They executed much better than the Wizards, and the Wizards kind of, they came up empty. Even the last shot when Collins hit the three, Neto had a good look at it, then fall. They didn't secure the rebound. You had to foul Solomon Hill. He goes and makes it. Just little things like that where you got to fight and make those plays so you can try to win the game, especially on the road against a high-powered team. They got a lot of weapons. And Washington, for the second night, just failed to do that.
Right.
Yeah, man. It's good to see them compete with Bill, on the sideline, street clothes. But the next step for them is actually closing out these games, when they're in these situations, because obviously they're right there. They just can't seem to get over the finish line, due to some of the small things and the mental lapses Cardell just touched on. But it is what it is. We can't really not going to harp on it too much. They would have made would have relieved some stress a little bit with the win tonight. That would have clinched their playing position. But as we were talking a little bit before we got on, the team that's chasing them has a tough road ahead, so they're more than likely they're safe unless something miraculous happens with Chicago. But yeah, man, Atlanta just played better down the stretch, and that's just what it came down to. the Wizards, they started off the game slow defensively. They gave up 35 in the first quarter, but they regrouped and held them to 21 in the second. But yeah, that fourth quarter they gave up 37 points. And they just can't do that, especially when they had a double-digit lead. They allowed Atlanta to walk them down and and win the game. I like what Gafford did tonight. He made his presence felt, and I think it kind of got back to what he was doing when he first got to the team. I don't think people really knew what to expect. He just came and played with a lot of energy, ran the floor, and got hustle plays. But then when his talent was evident, they started doing things from like running pick and rolls, and it made it easier for teams to kind of prepare for him. But tonight he just kind of did the dirty work and filled in the gaps that way. Like, cleaning up on the offensive glass, running the floor really hard, things like that, you really can't account for. It just kind of happens in the natural flow of the game. So I like the game he played. Of course, Russ is going to be Russ. Yeah, man. And Bertans, he had 14, 4-10 from three. That's, that's pretty much what we're asking him, 40% from three. I mean, you really can't argue with that. That's shooting it at a high clip. But that defensive gaff on the last play, that's just something that can't happen and end up costing them the game. Rui, he started off aggressive, kind of slowed down as the game went on. These games with with Bill out, he's got to be the guy that kind of exceeds his normal production, because he's next in line. He was a lottery pick. He's got a lot of upside, and he just got to start to step into that role a little more. But all in all, nothing too bad. But of course, you definitely want to see them finish a game that they had an opportunity to win.
Yeah, I don't really have too much. Saw something real quick from Brooks. He's asked about would he have had Gafford on the floor towards the end of the game. He pretty much was like, in hindsight, probably would have changed that, considering the type of night that Gafford did have, impact he had on both ends. And I just want to share that because I know there's going to be like 70 of y'all in the comments, and I've already seen on Twitter so far, he's already acknowledged that that could have helped. The other thing is what you see is literally this has been their issue most of the year, and we've talked about this all year. They're not a good shooting team. There was a lot of open looks and misses. Like Cardell said, they shot well from three for three quarters. They still got some good looks in the fourth. Obviously things are going to change a little bit when Brad's not on the floor, and that's one of the things that does suffer just a bit. But even with him off the floor, that doesn't take away from what they didn't do defensively. There's no excuse for that because we can't blame it on turnovers. Tonight they only had 7. You have to play defense. You can't lose people. Again, I'm pretty sure John Collins is on most team scouting report since he shoots 38% from three. He gets out there in transition. I know Cardell said he was done with it, but again, that's a pivotal moment in the game. Russ drives, Capella gets a piece of it. Russ is on the ground. He can't get back. Len stumbles. So you got Bertans back with 2 guards. Ish Smith does a great job trying to play, trying to play safety between 2. Nettle's on the ball. Like, Cardell mentioned.
You got to be active.
Fake the jump in to Capella, but you need to get your butt out there on Collins and take away that 3. That's not Capella in the corner wide open. It's John Collins. And it's the little things. Again, we've been saying this all year. It is literally the little things that undo this team at the end of almost every game. And at some point, I know this is something people don't like to hear. You have to hold players accountable for not getting stuff done at the end of games the same way you hold them accountable for when they get stuff done, when they do get things done at the end of the games. And defensively, that just wasn't it. We watched Trey. Cardell mentioned the battle between Trey and Russ. It's so fun watching Trey use that floater like the weapon, like using it.
Tony Parker-ish.
Yeah, like I'm using a weapon now because now you can't do anything. You don't know if it's a floater or a lob to the big. And you got to pay attention to the boy coming down there because he's not really missing the floater. And that put a lot of pressure on Washington. And again, you're already not a great defensive team. Everybody else on the floor around Trey could kind of shoot. Again, it's the little things. And honestly, the people that are willing to play defense on the team, call it what it is, they're the shorter players. So, I mean, it would be cool. I know some people are like, put the taller guys out there. That's great. But if they're still not contesting or getting out to do what they're supposed to do, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? It's almost like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Again, the roster's the roster. I know everyone loves offense, but defensively, man, like you saw a lot of the warts. When you play good teams, you see the warts late in games. Like it magnifies itself. Go ahead, Cardell, my bad.
No, and that last play with Bertans, think about it, you're on the up too. So let's say Capella, Trey did throw the lob to Capella, he dunked it. It's a tie game, you got the ball again. You can still go for the win. So it makes sense to run out there, to run Collins, a good 3-point shooter, run him off the 3-point line, or just contest. That's what I mean. That's just and he knew he messed up because he had a body language afterwards. Like he just put his head down, walked towards out of bounds, and I'm like, yeah, that's a fucked up move. It's like, because think about it, like I keep saying, fine, if he hit the shot, kudos to him, but you did your job. That's all a coach can ask you to do. Your 6'10" frame, stands a better chance of bothering the shot than Neto. Like why? If you watch Neto play, man, Wizards play, why Neto be trying to guard all 5 positions because he's trying to make up for these fools not doing what they supposed to do. Like it makes no sense. He cut Trey off and made Trey a passer. He did his job. He turned around and this boy just in the corner, just standing there eating Twinkies, eating some popcorn, drinking some water by himself, and no one's even running at him. So of course he gonna run, but Neto's 6'1", so Collins not gonna see him. Collins 6'9" could jump out the gym. So he don't even that's a shooting drill with his shooting coach. It just happened to be game time. And he knocked it down with no hesitation. Like, come on, man. It's those little things where, we see in the comments, guys like, man, I think we can go on a run, man, upset one of these teams. I'm like, what are y'all looking at, man? Because if you make these type of mistakes with these type of teams against some better teams, the Bucks, the Nets, the Sixers, you're out of there in 4. It's no question. You know what I mean? I don't care what nights Russ and Bill have, because you know what? They got guys on their perimeter that can have the same nights to cancel that out. So then it comes down to the others. Now, which others are you trusting on? I rest my case, man. But, it is what it is. And as far as for Gafford, let me see. He probably should have been on the floor more tonight, no doubt. But sometimes defensively, he gets himself in trouble with fouls in key moments because he goes for everything. I think that's what's probably kind of causing Brooks a little concern. I don't want to speak for him, but if you notice when he has bad games where he kind of ineffective, his energy is consistent, but sometimes you got to be more poised and stuff. Like when he going for everything, teams know that. And that's when he struggle. They get him on the bench because he's in foul trouble. He picks up quick fouls. And if you play basketball before, it's tough when you get in foul trouble early. It's hard to get your rhythm back. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what it is. And people need to also keep in mind it's his second year, man. It's tough. He's still trying to learn as is, but you can see the potential when that. Tonight, that may not apply because what he was doing, he was in his zone. He was hooping. So that might have been key. Like I know for sure if he was on the floor, he would have definitely ran out, try to contest Collins and stuff like that. So, or communicate. You know what I mean? And I'm not even sure people were pointing and yelling on that last play when Collins got the last on. It was just, and Neto couldn't do it because he's trying to keep Trey at bay. You know what I mean? So, and then Ish running back and he like, oh shoot, who's behind? He like you said, he playing free safety. That's just that play right there kind of sums up defensive end for the Wizards all season, man.
It was just simple, like you said, man, being aware of the moment in that situation in the game. Again, you up too. He catches the lob, man. So what? So what? Who cares? And let's say you did get out there in time, get a good closeout, and Collins puts it on the floor. Len's only a couple steps away from being all the way back in the picture. You know what I'm saying? And again, this is a different discussion we're having because at least it's not that. Just making him hesitate to shoot, put it on the floor, it changes things a little bit. Who knows? Maybe Russ gets back in the picture by then. But
Nah,
because of what
I'm
you're
gonna tell
gonna
you who
do,
would have got the picture. Neto.
oh,
Neto ass would have ran his ass down and tried to take that charge. Yeah, he'd have been one.
you know, sadly, you're right, and that's the thing that bothered me when I played. After all that, why was he still the only one that ran out there? Like it drives me nuts, man, because we watch people use their superpowers, their athleticism for good on the other end all the time, man. Like, and we see it in spurts on the defensive end, but man, come on. Like it's the little things, man. And that's the thing where again, just being like, I know some folks were like, oh man, maybe he started the year better. Maybe it would have been a little bit better. I don't think it's going to be a drastic change. Some people maybe think, you know, they would have been a 5 seed. I don't know about all that. You probably definitely have a better record than you do now because you would have been more healthy. But again, these issues don't disappear just because folks were healthy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's not a given. These issues are still these issues. Secondly, even at the beginning of the year, you still want to have Gafford. So I mean, kind of, sort of, maybe. Just being honest, things ain't really changed till, you know. So just want to put that in perspective real quick. I know we're gonna get to you guys in the comments. Trust me. I think we got like 9 of them. Y'all about to hurt me tonight reading all this, but it's all right. Just and as always, YouTubers always leave comments. You know, like the day after. If you guys are watching live on IG or even on Twitter, feel free to comment. We can see it live here, Facebook as well, and we'll put it up on the screen and respond to you. Thanks to all those on IG watching. We got John Doe 1984, Vincent Williams, D Brooks, and Humble Lev. So we appreciate y'all. Real quick before we get to the comments, though, quick word from our partners over at Oohs and Ahs Soul Food Restaurant. For some of the best soul food in the city, get over to Oohs and Ahs this week. There's 2 locations, Georgia Avenue and U Street, so we're online. Get the address for both locations. Head to oozandahs.com. That's OOHHSNAAHS.com. All right, y'all, let's get to some of these comments real quick. Ray, we accepting or deferring this evening?
We gonna defer tonight.
All right, Cardell, this is on you then. Our very first one, man, this banner. Hawks coming off the bench with Lou Will, Gallinari, and Hunter. That's a lot to deal with. And Reddish when he comes back.
Yeah, that's why they, 7th and where they at now? 4th seed. That's why it's top 4 team in the Eastern Conference. And Reddish, I'm not sure how he will be when he get back. He's been out a while. Rhythm wise and stuff. So it'll be a tough go. But yeah, I mean that's why they're the 4th seed. They have a lot of firepower. They're young, but they're rapidly improving. And we saw that coming a couple years ago, like we said. When Collins and Trae Young was there, they came into DC, gave the Wizards all they can handle. Like them young boys, they coming. All they need is some pieces here and there. Horford was on the team. I think he was a rookie with them. So, they drafted well the last few years, and they got a young mom. And then Capella came over free agency. So, hey, man, they put it all together, keep this team together, and they continue to grow. You can see the growth in Trae Young's game as well, leading the way. Yeah, they're going to be problems in the East for years to come.
All right, on to you, Ray. We changed numerous players over the last 5 years. Hell, we've even changed GMs, but we still can't defend the pick and roll or the 3-point line. And we can't blame Scott Brooks. Scott and Seth are the only constants over the last 5 years. This can't be ignored. On a different note, Cardell is the man. 100% rep DC, my guy. Ray?
I mean, when did Scott Brooks retire? When was the last time he played?
Be the 90s, sir.
Yeah, so I mean, not being able to defend the pick and roll or the 3-point arc, I don't think we can lay that at his feet. I'm sure as an NBA coach for a number of years, he's run through pick and roll defense and closing out on a 3-point line in practice. So I don't know. I don't know why people are so adamant to to blame him for every single shortcoming. Does he make mistakes? Of course, everybody does. But sometimes, yeah, it is okay to hold a player accountable when they're consistently not doing positive things on the basketball court. If you have to rely on your coach to make every single decision for you, then I don't think you would have made it to the NBA. But yeah, it is what it is at this point, man. I'm kind of through with this Scott Brooks conversation. Scott and Ted are the only constants over the last 5 years. This can't be ignored. What also can't be ignored is the numerous injuries and everything else that's gone on. When the man had talent, he had the Wizards in the playoffs. Once those injuries started piling up, then it was a different story. I mean, I don't know what people expect. If your top 2 and 3 guys are injured, at different points, then that's gonna negatively impact every single team in the league. So, whatever, man. If y'all can feel about Brooks how you want. And it's always good to see Cardell get some love in the comments, man. Keep doing what you're doing, dude.
On the Cardell again.
Hold on, let me go. No, let me
Yeah.
go back to that. I appreciate the compliment, but I'm gonna go to the facts real quick. So Scott Brooks' first year was the 16-17 season. All right, the previous year, the last one under Whitman was, they was 41-41. They finished 10th in the Eastern Conference. Bill was out a lot again. I think he missed 27 games. That was pivotal for them. First season under Scott Brooks, they finished 49-33. They were 4th in the Eastern Conference. They lost in the semifinals to the Celtics. They lost in 7 games to the Celtics. Pretty good year. What's the difference? Wall and Bill both played 77, 78 games. All right, played most of the season. That's the difference. The next year, Wall only played 41 games. They fall to 8th in the Eastern Conference. Okay. They lose in the first round to the Toronto Raptors. Next year, they're 11th, the 18-19 season. They're 11th in the Eastern Conference. Obviously, they don't make the playoffs. What's the common denominator? John Wall only played 32 games. All right. And go 19-20 season. 25-47, 10th in the East, man. What's the common denominator right there? Brad Beal. He didn't play many games. He got hurt. John Wall was completely out the year, okay? That we all know what happened. He had Achilles surgery, all that, man. Re-injured himself. He was out that whole entire year. Then we have this year. What's going on? This is what we're trying to say. He's dealt with hell. And it's not like key injuries to rotation players and all that. It's to his horses. You know what I mean? No team can sustain that. Look at the Lakers. They were top 2, top 3 team in the West. They were up there. Could have trying to secure home court advantage. Braun go down, AD go down. Look at them. They fighting to stay out the play-in position. It happened. Like no team, like Raymond said, no team can sustain losing their star players for a significant amount of time. It's just impossible, man. Everything is built around them on the team. That's why they're superstars. Everyone can't be a superstar. It's only about, you can say about good 15 to 20 of those guys. And I'm trying to be nice, honestly, because it might be 15 or less. So when you lose that caliber of talent, it's hard to duplicate it. And with that being said, he still made the playoffs 2 or 3 of those seasons, man. A couple of those seasons. Despite that, that's a sign of a good coach. And look at what happened this year. This year it could have went to hell. Like right now, we could be just talking about, all right, what do they need in the draft? What kind of free agents they need to go after? That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about them being in the play-in, and if they got a shot to advance in the playoffs, make some noise in the playoffs. That's a testament of coaching. But y'all don't want to give that man his credit when things go well. But when some adversity comes, it's him. No, it's past time. Y'all got to start giving these players a pass, man. Look at them. They're getting paid a lot of money to play basketball. So look at them, have them, and get on them about stepping up and doing their job. It's like it's funny to me. Like you hear a lot of players nowadays in interviews, and they say, "Well, we don't need a lot of coaching." They're very picky particular about how they're being coached and stuff at this level, especially once they get some years under their belt. All right, but when things go to hell, they're never standing up in front saying that was on us. You rarely hear that from a player. So lay off Scott Brooks, man. Even some of y'all part of the why not code with Russell Westbrook and all that. Y'all, your man even said early in the season, we have to step up. It's not on Scott Brooks. He's doing his job. The coaching staff's doing their job. So if he said it, why y'all still bringing this up? And as far as Ted, he owns the team. He ain't going away. So unless you got about a couple bills to pay for the Wizards, dog, you want to take that. See, that's what happens when you run something. When you own it, when you run something, you don't get replaced. The only way you get replaced is if you choose to be replaced. I don't want this no more. So y'all need to get over that.
That owner and fan thing is always funny because whether you like it or not, you know it's not going to change. It's not under your power. That so they get bored or find something else to do. It's what it is. This from Big O. I think it's for you, Cardell. Should turn again. This show is always fella. This might be the first time I disagree with y'all about Russ. This is based off Zeke's point. I'm tired of the Russ winning no ring slander. Where were KD's rings? Good God, without a 73-win team, the only time Russ had championship caliber talent was when y'all boys Brooks was coaching. I checked the OKC roster after KD left. Sabonis was a rookie. Traded Indiana. Jeremy Grant was a puppy. We all know how PG gets cooked in the playoffs. And Melo wasn't himself like he's in Portland. Zeke has a point. Pressey made a mistake by not keeping Harden. He's still paying for that mistake now. He also never put the proper shooting around Russ, knowing damn well Russ always struggles to make jumpers.
Well, let me get to this. Well, we all know he made a mistake with Harden. That's been documented. We've said that before. That's why we brought up Harden. You saying PG always gets cooked in the playoffs. He's also had some moments in the playoffs, but yeah, you know, I mean, Dame hit a hell of a shot. I mean, he hit a shot from 40 with a sidestep. I mean, and it was contested. PG played good defense on that. Dame just hit a tough shot. That's why he's Dame. You know what I mean? He's one of a handful of players in the league that probably could have made that shot over PG. So I don't know why y'all keep throwing that out there. Sabonis was a rookie then, but he was valuable enough that Indiana wanted him for their star player. But we not gonna go there. You know, it's a reason why they wanted him. I checked the OKC roster, blah blah. Go back. All right, 73 win team. Where's KD ranks without a 73 win team? You know, y'all can keep saying that. Y'all can keep harping on that. But the fact of the matter is they were up 3-1. And the Warriors walked those boys down. Now you can say you can point the finger and all that, but at the end of the day, Russ was the point guard on that team, right? So he don't deserve no blame. And we didn't slander him for not having no rings. What we saying is we not gonna sit up here and act like he didn't play with talent. That's not real. He did. So at the end of the day, when you have talent around you, you either get it done or you don't. You understand what I'm saying? It's no different than anybody else. You know, Charles Barkley, he said his teammates weren't as good as the teammates Michael Jordan played. You had Kevin Johnson and Dan Marley, man. You know, that's pretty good, dog. You know, I mean, then you got older and you went down there, but it was still fact. You still had Dream and Clyde, you know, and then Pippen. You know what I mean? I don't know. You know, at some point, if you that dude, you supposed to be the difference maker, right? So, look, Isaiah's wrong. He played with talent. You can't sit up and say that they did not put talent around him. He did. They did. He had it on it. It just didn't work out. You shake the next man's hand. That's why Steph is the best point guard of this era, because he led that way. They were up 3-1, man. They were up. Like, you supposed to close that out. You see what I'm saying? You had 3 chances, just like the Warriors. They felt that sting too in the finals with LeBron. They were up 3-1. LeBron walked them down with the Cavs, Kyrie and those boys. They walked them down, and they got it done. So they know how I feel. You know what I mean? So, you know, at the end of the day, you could talk about the KD rings and all that, but he was Finals MVP. He was the one hitting the dagger shot. They gave him the ball and deferred to him and moved him out, got out the way, and he hit those dagger shots in Cleveland on LeBron. So it ain't like he was just along for the ride, averaging 12 points and just happened to get some championships. The boy put in work. I think one game, what was it? 50,
It was game
50,
3.
100, something.
It was game 3, sir. 60, 60, and 100 were the shooting
60, and 100 from the field, 60% shooting from the field, 60% from 3, and 100% from the free throw line. What are we talking about here?
And the
He
next
committed
highest,
homicide in that series, man.
I'm sorry, the next highest scorers in that specific game were JaVale McGee and Sean Livingston. Both of the light skins played that game. Just
And with all due respect, a certain who some consider the GOAT, he ain't want no parts of that. He let his teammates down on that island. So we ain't gonna sit up here and act like KD ain't contribute either. You know what I'm saying? Like that sounds good. But hey, look, man, love Russ, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, man. But facts are facts, man. And Talib Kweli said something that I'm gonna apply to life, and I'm gonna start applying to what we do here in the media and scout, man. Truth over tribal following, man. That's what he's saying. Like, stop following the masses just because y'all emotional and y'all like Russ and y'all don't like hearing negative things. It's not us being purposely negative. It's just putting the facts out there. If one of us was in Russ' shoes, it's just real. It is what it is. You understand that? Like, we just speaking the truth. So the truth is he had talent, man. It just ain't work out, and that happens. It's called sports. It's called life. He's fine. Trust me.
My bad. And that's the craziest part because we've literally never once slandered this man. We've never heard us go at this man for the shooting or anything like that. Because again, we understand his overall impact, and that overall impact, we're not going to try to diminish or knock him down for that one part with everything that he does. So, y'all, I wish I would just take the time to listen before you go crazy. Because again, all we simply said was the man played with talent. All that other stuff is irrelevant. All of that is irrelevant. And again, like I've said since the Harden thing, y'all need to take all this energy, Sam Presti. I don't know why this stuff's been misplaced for this many years. Sam Presti. They just be having all-stars over there. And no one says nothing. Everybody's, how you mad at the players or whatever? That same GM had, you know how lucky you got to be as a GM to get them 3? Bing, bing, bing. Jeff Green included. And then that with it. And y'all really out here at the players?
And one more thing about Rush. Y'all saying he struggles to shoot. Isn't that his responsibility to become a better shooter? And this not me criticizing him. He's a dog. He's a problem. But if you have those weaknesses, and I'm saying this in regards to y'all, not to attack Russ. Russ straight, especially the way he's been playing. It ain't nothing you can say. But how can y'all criticize everybody else across the board, but the weaknesses that Russ may have, the shortcomings he had, is hate, or you hating on this man, or y'all want to overlook those? Do you see the hypocrisy with that? No. Of course y'all don't. We know they don't, but I just wanted to point that out. Truth over tribalism. That's what Tyler Kweli said. Y'all acting like y'all on some tribalism thing. Everybody just following the trend. Defend Russ. We ain't saying nothing wrong.
We're not even attacking that man. Been supporting him since. y'all are fun. Just thoroughly enjoy it. Here you go, Ray. Try to get through these real quick. From Jeremy Harville, one adjustment the Wizards should do for Wednesday, just like Atlanta kept forcing the switch to get its hands on one. Russ should get Trey switched on him so he can rock the baby. For his trade, some fouls, beat him up on the post. I know y'all won't see this time for the game Wednesday, but hopefully that happens. Good coaching on the Hawks side, putting a solid guy on Russ like Order cut down his post game. Hopefully we can keep Neto engaged on offense like they seem scoring in both halves next game. Ray, before I give this to you, I'm just going to say this real quick. The reason why you can't really pick on Trey too much is like Ardell mentioned, back when, they had him and Collins, they've done a good job every year kind of surrounding them with defensive people so that you can't pick on that boy like that. We were talking the other night they got 3 bouncy, dumb athletic bigs. Do y'all think that was an accident? Nah, it's by design. So just in case you feel like trying to post the little guy up, guess who's there? You got, what was it called? Between Capella and Okongwu, that's 2 dudes with 7'5" plus wingspans that can just run and jump. You think they weren't thinking about this? DeAndre Hunter, y'all think that wasn't part of the thought process at that moment? They know what it could be, and that's why, like you saw, what they have, they had Bogey on Russ, they had Hoarder on Russ. They made and if by chance when it was Trey, one of them bigs was antenna was all the way up. Like, we could even go down to that pivotal play near the end of the game. He gets by his man and drives. Who was waiting? Capella. just waiting. Capella. They off to the races. Trey in transition. Pretends indecisive. Finds Collins in the corner and boom. Like, there's a reason they went and got Capella to add. And then they drafted a Congo after they already have Capella. Like, Atlanta knows what they know. Who there's a weakness for that young man. He's also not on the floor at the end of the game. Johnson on the bench down the stretch. Last couple key defensive possessions. Ain't nobody playing with that. They got the lead. Come here and sit next to me, buddy. We need stops. Go ahead, Ray. I'm sorry.
Nah, you good, man. You pretty much took the words out of my mouth, though. They they're prepared and planned to make up for a shortcoming on their roster. Trey isn't the most capable defender, but they put things around him to kind of ease that burden a little bit. And also, man, this is not pickup. You can't just go 1-on-1 every play. It's it's why a lot of teams struggle late in games, because that's their mentality. But yeah, matter of fact, I saw something Kevin Durant said earlier. He was like, people were criticizing him, saying he's too passive or what have you. And he was like, they want me to go to Rucker Park every game. This is the NBA, a strategy involved. And this is coming from probably the most unstoppable person in the league. So
passive how?
Look, man, look. I know I just opened a whole nother can of worms with that. But yeah, man, like this just finding a mismatching on 1-on-1 every time down the floor is not the answer. Especially since Russ is the main facilitator for that team. It's his responsibility to distribute and get everybody involved. So and to keep, especially in the games with Bill out, he's got to keep these guys engaged and in tune with what's going on. So when their number is called, they're ready. And hopefully we can keep Neto engaged on offense. I think Neto's been pretty engaged lately on offense and defense. So yeah, I'm not sure what that was about, but yeah, Neto gets after it on both ends every game. I don't think anybody has have a complaint about his output. But yeah, man, we gotta just look at the game as a whole and not just we think Trey can't check Russ, so Russ should go 1-on-1 every time because people will be hunting out Bertans. That's something the Wizards got to deal with. Other teams they work around their issues. Right now, unless like Gafford's in the game to kind of cover the backside when somebody blows by Bertans, it's really nothing the Wizards can do. Because somebody's gonna have to overhelp to compensate for him, and then that's just an easy kick out to a wide open three. But yeah, man. Actually, because he said maybe we'll see a Wednesday. We saw Atlanta do exactly what they did overnight. They threw bodies at Russ. They definitely didn't want him to get in the post and get comfortable, and they just kind of had him do things that are some of his weaker points instead of allowing him to get to his strengths, which is smart.
All right, we go on to the next one real quick. It's crazy that the last 3 games the Wizards lost were all by 1 point. I'm sorry, this is from David Caulfield. Big congrats to Russ for record-breaking triple doubles. Of course. Been rocking with Russ since the UCLA days, so it's crazy to see him accomplish a particular record. So little time that he's been a professional. Again, it's really wild because that graphic popped up tonight. 8 triple doubles in the first 6 seasons, and then the rest of them. Which is absurd, right? But I have 2 questions for all 3, Wilson, Raymond, and Cardell. Exactly, how far do you think the Wizards will make it? If they retain the 10 seed or above and make it in the playoffs, and why do you believe that? Whatever your answer is. Ray, I'll let you start this one. I think we kind of touched on it, after the last game, probably a couple of nights before, but go ahead, start off with this one and I'll chime in.
Yeah, man, I feel like their ceiling is a first round exit. I mean, for obvious reasons, it's no, it's not, being mean or taking a shot at them. It's just from a talent standpoint and where they are right now. If they make it through the play-in process, they don't have anything for those top teams. So yeah, man, if they do happen to actually get in the field of 8, whoever they play in the first round, they're going to lose. I mean, that's just being real. Those teams at the top of the conference, they're in full championship mode and they're capable of playing well into June. So yeah, that's where I see them going. If they shouldn't have a problem getting through the play-in. Even though they're most likely going to go in as a 10th seed. I believe they can beat those other teams that are involved. So yeah, man, that's just where I see their season ending.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Ray. I think they can. I think they can win the necessary games to get into 8th. But I think everything significantly changes once we start talking about whoever's at that 1 seed. Because look, man, playoffs slow down. A lot of their warts they get even more magnified in a 4-game series. We talking. You guys been mentioning in the comments how they like to separate. Kind of isolate folks. Them not being a good defensive team, and sometimes the propensity to turn the ball over, is going to hurt against some of them teams at the top of the East, because the Nets, they don't really lock down, but the other 2 teams, about Philly and Milwaukee, they have the ability to clamp you defensively and score in bunches. While the Nets don't, the defense is an issue. Lord, they do not have a short of weaponry on the offensive end, and it's one thing when it's cute, you can score with them in a regular season and all that. Couple of them dudes will, one of them dudes, one of y'all mentioned earlier in the playoffs, it's a whole different type of party to deal with come playoff time. Even the other 2 have had playoff success. All haven't had the same level of playoff success, but we're talking about folks that have been in conference finals and finals. Again, that's a lot to deal with. And again, it's like Ray said, it's not a shot at this team currently. It's just being real, staying in this moment. There's things that need to be done to this roster to put them in a better place, and none of those things can get done, before this playoff run. So it's just being real. Like, what would be good out of this? Maybe get the A seed. Whatever happens, happens. Get the youngsters some playoff experience. Try to help accelerate that growth. And you come back next year, have a healthy TB, identify some other things, and these kids get like meaningful playoff minutes, if that's what can come out of it. But go ahead, Cardell. That was pretty much what was just being asked. What do we think would happen, the 3 of us, if the Wizards retain the 10th seed or higher and make it in the playoffs? Like I said, I think we answered this other night, but just once again.
I definitely think now that Jaylen Brown went down, I definitely think they should be confident as far as getting out the play-in position. As far as that, once it, let's say they secure a playoff spot in the top 8, Philadelphia, and I'll play. Just being real, and Embiid, man, they don't have anything for Embiid, man. That's the monster right there. And like we said, one of y'all mentioned that they put a bigger guard, Kevin Porter from Maryland. They put him on rest to try to slow him down. Well, guess what's waiting for him in Philly? Ben Simmons, and that's 6'10". You know what I mean? So, Philadelphia is also tied with Miami is the second best defense in the Eastern Conference. They only give up 108 points. They only give that up. You know what I mean? So only team better, and they got the number 1 defense in the entire league is the New York Knicks, and they only allow 104 points. So it's hard, man. It's tough. And then, and then you also got to take in that factor, is Bill going to be healthy enough to do what he does? I know he's going to come back and play soon enough, but he's been having issues since he fell on that hip early in the season. It's been something after another all along. So, I mean, no one's healthy at this point in the season, especially if you're playing a lot of minutes and producing like Bill and Russ has. But they need Bill to be Bill. They need him to be on one just to have a shot, and that's just to have a shot. So unless it's an epic collapse, historic NBA proportions, they can get out to play in. But once they see Philly, Yeah, that's night, son. It's a wrap.
All right, on to the next one. We pretty much already, yeah. Oh, here we go. Dante Barber. Why everybody hating on the Wizards all over the internet? People are bugging. This is on you, Cardell.
I don't see anybody hating on the Wizards, man. I just honestly, since they've been winning, they been getting praised. They get on national TV. They doing their thing. I don't know what's there to hate about. You know, they winning, they competing. Maybe it's criticism about Russ as far as his triple double mark, but that's to be respected. People if people are criticizing that, I would just ignore them. I wouldn't pay them no mind because they clearly don't understand what they're talking about. They're just rapping. So it's nothing to hate on. It's only upwards because it was ugly for a minute. But since they've been on the surge late in the season, it's only that you can only respect it. They getting it done. They winning. I know they're on the 2-game winning streak now, but they have to turn that around. But all in all, they fought their way into the play-in spot where they had some. They had the opportunity to play in the postseason. And if you look back about a month and a half ago or so, you're like, nah, that's definitely not going to go down. So they should be celebrated right now.
All right, Ray, this one is yours from the Awesomes. Russell was great until that step back three when we only needed two. It's the one thing made me mad about Beal and Russell. That's not high IQ basketball. He definitely could have got off a better shot. Go ahead, Ray. I already spoke up once. I'm done for the day.
If he's talking about this is in reference to the final play of the last game.
Yes, sir. That we took the time to talk about. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think we kind of went into detail on that. I mean, they threw 3 people at him with Herter waiting at the basket. So, I don't. With the scenario that was given, that was the best outcome. I mean, it wasn't nothing else he could have done. If he'd have tried to make a pass, Capella was kind of playing the field, and he would have got to it. So yeah, I'm not mad at the shot. They didn't call a timeout; they just let it play out, and given what was going on the court, it really wasn't much else for him to do. I mean, they walled up and threw 3 bodies at him and we saw her to get back. First thing he did was ran to the rim, and then was yelling and pointing at everybody else to swarm him. So, I don't know if he wants him to just bulldoze them and try to get to the basket, but it wasn't. There weren't many options there, in regards to that last play.
Cardell, did you want to add to this? I know we talked about it the other night.
We talked about it. Had video up. You gotta go back and see it.
Man said review the tape. Offense comes and goes. Our issue is defense. I think we all have agreed to this stuff. Net of GLC, teams score at will most of the time. It's like we got to be down there 20 to play defense. The right way to fight back. No issue there as well, sir. The defense has been a little better over the last games, but it's no way they should be scoring in the paint so easily. Maybe because Gafford has less minutes than Len and Lopez.
It's deeper than just somebody back, like a run protector. It's deeper than that. Because honestly, the goal is not to have the big be have to block so many shots to protect the rim. You know what I mean? That means everybody else on the perimeter is keeping their man in front of them. That's really the objective of defense. The Wizards all year, you have certain players that get after it. The Netos, the Garrisons, you know what I mean? Like they get after it on defense. But the problem is everybody got to be on the string. And like I said, you can tell when a team don't trust one another defensively, man. You can just tell. And then when they don't trust you, they overcompensate, they overplay what they're supposed to be doing. And that's how you make mistakes, and that's how your defense breaks down. And in the NBA, it don't take much. They figure it out real quick. And once they know where the breakdown's coming from, they exploit it. They make they take full advantage of it. That's the NBA. That's why they're pros. That's why they're at that level. You can say Gafford could play more minutes, but it's been times where, like I said earlier, he's getting in foul trouble because he's going for everything, literally. you know, he has to play smarter in a sense. And Landon Lopez don't have the athleticism to really be rim protectors, even though Landon, you know, he's more athletic than Lopez, but still, you know, it's tough on them because guess what? They're being put in pick and roll sets all damn day and switching out on guards and stuff like that. It is what it is, man. Hey, it's just it's tough. And so when you got people behind you that you don't fully trust and whatnot, I mean, after a while, once you get scored on, it's like this, man. Once your man score, he may not have scored on you, but in that box score, that's your matchup. Best believe it looks like he torched your ass, even though most of the points may not have been on you. So guess what? Just like some on offense, players get in self-preservation mode. Oh, you ain't passed me the ball last few times? I'm jacking. Don't let me touch. I'm getting the ball. I'm going 1-on-5. I'm jacking. On defense, you get in self-preservation mode. I ain't helping. I ain't doing that. I'm staying with this dude. So y'all know I'm not getting cooked out here. I'm serious. That happens. So we ain't gonna sit up and act like that don't happen with them. You know what I mean? So that's what you have. But then it gets so bad that they have no choice but to come together. You know what I'm saying? Because now it's obvious that it's affecting their ability to win. That's when they come together, and then you see them come back. They lock teams down for a split second or whatever. Then they come back and play, but then they fall right back apart because that's not really them. It's not their identity. So, I agree with everything you're saying, man. But it's a lot more to it with the defensive breakdown than not having Gaffer in the game to block shots to protect the rim, man. It starts way before that.
Ray, did you want to chime in at all?
Nah, man. Yeah, just making one substitution and giving a guy more minutes ain't going to solve this. It's a multitude of problems going on out there.
Yeah, and the other thing I know all the time, Cardell brings it up. So about, you guys always talk about the skill on the offensive side. There's a deficiency of that here. And then the IQ, you have to have the requisite IQ defensively as well for good teams to be, good defensive teams as a whole. And like Cardell said, if you're not trusting folks, how could y'all be on a string? Secondly, if everyone's not dialed in up here to see stuff before it happens, that's another level of being on a string. But you got to have the first level. And right now, again, they're just not there. And that's what we like. Again, it's great that they've made this run to get back into things. This team is far from whatever their final form will be. They're several steps behind it. Like they're powered by their veteran backcourt. There's a gap between them and the others. And the gap has to close for them to become a better team. And I know everybody wants everything so quick. We've seen throughout the season, just give this kid minutes here and give this, man, everybody ain't ready for everything. It takes time. Like, I would urge y'all the same thing with Gafford because I felt like it was a little different with TB because just nobody really expected it. Like, give him this kind of like the same patience that happened with TB. It'll happen. Just give it time. And the other thing is, I think it was like at the end of the first half, right? Like it was a big stretch. He was going crazy. He was winded. And it was like I think it was like a 3 to 5 minute spurt, the last 3 to 5 minutes of the half. Like he was gassed. And this is also something that could be said again. You want to give the kid minutes. They're not used to playing that many minutes or whatever, man. You have to build that up too. Like there's a lot, like y'all just have to let stuff happen. There's several steps away. It's great that they fought hard enough to get into the play-in and everything else. You got to let the other stuff, hopefully catch up. Like,
and also you can play a lot of minutes, but if you don't have the experience to know when to, play all out and kind of,
pace yourself.
Yeah, pace yourself and stuff like that, so you won't get gas. You're gonna be gas regardless, because the Wizards play at the fastest pace in the league. That's what people don't understand. That's why Bruce got to sell so much. You get tired quick. Now the other team may get tired, but you get tired quick. The Hawks play at a fast pace, so it don't quite work for them. They just playing their normal game. So especially, and they're younger and more athletic. So it's just like, cool, let's run. You know what I mean? And that's when the styles makes fights sometimes, man. And that's the difference, man. But yeah, he's winning because guess what he also did in these last 2 games? He got to deal with them bigs, man, that are just like him. They're running and jumping, trying to block shots, and look, he got to work extra hard to finish because they up there with him. You know what I'm saying? So that's one team that can that can kind of neutralize him because they got a couple and they can throw a variety of those dudes at him. You know what I mean? So you also got to understand that aspect of the personnel of the team that they playing as well, man. So look, man, they on the way. You know what I'm saying? You got to be patient. Like literally, I mean, Russia's got here this year. You know what I mean? Last year was horrible. They coming off COVID and hit them this year hard. They had a month over. Thomas Bryant is out. Denny's out. You know what I mean? Like y'all gotta let these youngins grow, man. For the last time, they have 8 players 24 years old and younger. You know what I mean? They have a very young team. So be patient, man. Scott, if there's one thing Scott Brooks is good at, him and the staff he puts around him, they're good at developing players, man. It's proven. Go all the way back to his first year at OKC and look at all the players that they develop. So be patient. You know what I mean? And we see what happens.
All right. As always, we appreciate you guys for hanging with us tonight. We'll see you guys, I think Friday's the next Wizards game. We'll also have Mystics Outlook this Saturday. They open against the Chicago Sky to be their home openers for the 2021 WNBA season. So again, just like we got this for Wizards Outlook, we're equal opportunity here to cover the Mystics since Coach T got here. Having no plans on stopping that. Therefore, we will have Mystics Outlook, at some point on Saturday. The game starts at 1, so let's say, 5-ish or something, 24 and 5. We'll see you guys on Saturday, the Mystics Outlook, and y'all have a great night.